I wouldn't definitely shine out as someone who would ever really want to use drama. I'd actually, run the other end of the corridor. I'm not really a drama kind of person, the outspoken and do first into the stage. I'd be the last one at the very back. But this gives you that kind of confidence in front of the class to actually do that. And whereas before you really wouldn't want to do that because you have this great fear of just failing completely. So I think in terms of I can do it, and I really, really will be at the end of the queue. I have to say I'm, just not, at school, everything, I just couldn't stand anything to do with doing drama and being the focus of, and that in that kind of way.
It does take time, and I think the build-up of trust and the build-up of, can we use this person? How relevant are they going to be in my classroom? And people not knowing how to use Rachel, I think, was the first kind of barrier. But I think because she's been around and people have seen her and they've started to see the work that she's doing, people are now more willing, and I think are feeling a bit braver about approaching it.
But the pupils love it, and they get an awful lot from it, and they're saying, is it my turn now, miss? It's my turn this lesson. And they'll be up there, and they have the hot seat in the front, and they have a little thing at the back of the chair so they know it's a hot seat, and we can use it in that way for a starter or a plenary. So I think whether you're at the beginning of your career or coming towards the end or midway through or whichever person you are, I think you can take an aspect of it and use it to improve your teaching.
The more tools that a teacher can have in their teaching skills to enable students to learn, and to learn actively and to retain and understand in depth what they're doing within the classroom, has to be of value to any classroom, any subject, any school or college, irrespective of their specialism, I'd have thought. And this is a tool that we have found extremely valuable, and the progress and the enjoyment that students are getting from their learning, they wouldn't get unless we were doing this. And C&T and Dan have been an excellent way to inspire and encourage staff to do that.
I think it's had a massive impact because people remember the information because they remember acting it out. The Battle of Hastings, before I've done Battle of Hastings essays, and they've forgotten really, really key vital bits of it and just didn't stick with them at all. Whereas now that you can use it, remember you in this character, you did that, and the actual information they're putting into the essays is a lot more accurate. And the empathy detail, which was missing before, they were using it. They felt like this would have happened, because they're experiencing it themselves when they're acting it out. So I think the essays, in terms of level-wise, our Key Stage 3 results, they are actually much, much higher for the Year 7s than they have been before we did these kind of activities. And the same thing with the Year 8, with doing about the execution of Charles. Again, their kind of essays they've done are based around that, whether the rights and wrongs of it, the trial. There are a lot more detail in them than they were before, and they are much more engaged. And when we have discussion in class, instead of it being kind of trawl the information out of them, and you're giving it to them, and they're not listening, and they're not really, engaging as such, they're putting their hands up, they're really engaging, and that they're eager to actually get on with that essay. Whereas before, it was a case of they do it because they'd have to, but it wouldn't be any great effort putting into it. Now they're saying, Miss, can I take it home? I've only got an hour in class, can I take it home? And these are some pupils who are quite difficult to get homework from, and normally you will be the one pinning them down. And they're coming and they're getting extra points, they're stopping in the corridor, what's this, and if I put this in, would this be it? So I think the motivation really helps them, because that does help them improve, and that helps them throughout the rest of the year, because they hang on to that the love of that particular topic, and you do something else, and that it motivates them. So I think it has helped learning, and it has helped our schools, our Key Stage 3 results, definitely.
Our school development plan, number one is to raise standards across the curriculum. Raising attainment, raising standards, and the school getting the status kind of comes in with that, and it's hand in hand. And you're looking at ways in which you can, different ways in which you can do that without it just being, the usual standard ways that all teachers will use. So, assessment for learning, etc. We're talking about a way in which we can look at children's way of learning and try and gear the learning to suit them. So we're thinking of personalised learning, etc., etc. All of those things are in place, they're all lovely, they all work, but what I was looking for as performing arts status school and thinking about how am I going to make sure that it's effective, is to look at a way in which all the school can take on and use art strategies. And some of them are used and some of them aren't used, and I wanted a way in which that we could bring that in and make it the norm. And so by having, rather than me do it, which would sound sometimes preachy and people would expect me to do that, by bringing in a company who are part of the school but actually also have the autonomy of being away from the school as well, I think gives it credibility and gives it status. So it's not so much a luxury, it's more of a necessity really. If you have any form of status where you are empowered to ensure that, you know, the raising of standards is happening through the specialism, I couldn't think of a better way to do it really.